right, I know Jen is going to come pretty soon. Is that still centered? Kind of.
Yeah.
All right, I know, we have to get started. So the first, welcome, come on in, you can sit wherever you want. We're recording?
We just started.
Yes, welcome. Let's see, I have, no worries. It's just that I'll probably start eating it during the presentation. So there are a couple of ideas for costumes. So one of them is like a cape and a
You can sit right there.
unless you want to be in it, you can totally be in it. So, yeah, you can sit. Yes, go ahead and sit right here. Yeah, yeah. So there's the idea of like a magician, like a top hat and a cape and a wand. That's one idea, but I don't have any of those things, and you'd think like during Halloween I would have come up with it. So that's one idea. If you have a top hat and a wand and a magic wand and a cape. The other thing they suggested is either a big coat or an apron that you can put things in your pockets. So I was going to put a couple aprons in the wagons and so I had a bunch of things. A lot of this stuff you can actually put in your pockets and then just kind of drop it, like put it back in. Like my pockets are really big, so obviously you can put a lot of stuff in. And you can actually I have some jewelry on and stuff that when I don't know, I guess you can have it strapped around you. I know somebody was wearing multiple aprons, but eventually you'll get all of these things. You'll start talking about, this is like one of the very first things that you show at the very beginning. It's like the first thing that's showing. And the kids have seen this. We did talk a little bit about it last time, the contrast between the realism and the impressionism. So they know that it's realism, and so I have them look at it, and they have a chance to really take a look at what's in it. And the name of this is My Gems. So why do you think he called it My Gems? And we have to point out the fact that the pipe, we didn't really know back then how bad smoking tobacco was. So, but if you get a chance to really look at it, you can have the kids raise their hands, and hopefully you'll be able to point out some of the things, there's a ink pot with a feather in it for writing. I think it's piccolo. It's not a full flute. It's a lot shorter. Maybe you can tell me your flautist.
Yeah, it's a piccolo.
Okay. I wasn't sure. And then books, and then music. Obviously, there's music here and different things. So looking at that, so the idea behind this is that this is supposed to be a two-part thing, which it isn't. That the kids are supposed to then bring their gems to this class and then draw them. So they have a whole hour to draw. And that's why it doesn't seem it seems kind of crazy for them to draw a still life of their items. Plus they would have to bring them in, and all the kids would have to remember to bring them in.
That's just
not gonna happen. So then you'll say, okay, so I brought some of my gems, and then you can kind of explain. So I am an artist, so I like to draw, and these are my drawing pencils. I like to write thank you notes, and I love music, so that's a speaker. My mom and dad lived in Japan, and I got to go visit them, so that's an obi from there. A metronome for music, and Hamilton, because I love it. And this is for camping. So just different things that this was a beach bag for the beach. And jewelry. Oh, and I love to read, so I have glasses. I did have, that was supposed to go with the book. There. Okay, so then you can put out things that you like to do, and so your favorite things. And then you'll actually ask the kids, why do you think when you look at this, do you think he put these things here on purpose? How do you think he arranged these? Does it look like he did this way on purpose, or could he have just done them in a line, and so they can say. So then you ask a couple of them. So it depends on who you have. You can say, okay, why don't you pick two people that volunteer to come up and try to arrange your stuff in a way that looks nice, and they'll see how hard it is to make it look nice. So you'll have them try, and then if they give up, you can have it. But having only one person come up, sometimes it's too much pressure. So if they can like work together, they actually work a lot faster. So then you'll see that putting things in a line doesn't look as great, and like obviously he's like raised some of these things up on books and stuff. So if you have different things that are a different height, and having something tall, like I was gonna have a vase that had flowers in it, but I didn't have any fresh flowers, so. But you could put something like that. But like Janine was saying, if you're gonna have them draw it at the end, you might want to not use your favorite things for that, and we'll pick out like a few very simple things for them to draw to put into their still life at the end. So then you talk a little bit about still lives, and the still life, so this is like, there's a still life in it, but the still lives that they want us to talk about are things like, so these are not ones that I have, these are just ones that I have at home, here at home. This one is a Renoir still life. So that one is way more realistic than normally his are. And then it had to kind of compare them to landscapes. So I can grab a few of like the landscapes. I'd probably use the Bierstadt landscape and maybe the Constable. And then this is a Cezanne. We don't actually study Cezanne, but this is a Cezanne print. And I have a couple big Cezanne prints. And then it has you pull out the Mona Lisa. So then you have them kind of talk about like what's different about a still life and a portrait and a landscape, like how do they differ, and yeah. Anyway, so they can talk about that. And then the big thing you want to get to, the thing that makes this less boring, is the fact that he was like the first 3D painter. So that's actually what you want to get to as fast as you can, because this isn't a 3D painting, but his other paintings are, and actually I think I have it in the other wagon. It is in the other wagon. His other paintings, though, I have a whole bunch of examples. So these are for each class. So these are all different things. So this picture it's on the side of a wall, so you can't tell. These are the trees here, but this is just a wall. And so it looks like you can see into it. And then this is one, I actually have this one, so it's just the side of the building. It's Cal State in Chico, I think. And I have that, so these were some of the ones you can pass around because they're laminated. So this one is it's a laptop, but it's 3D on a sidewalk. It's just on the sidewalk, and this is an artist drawing himself, opposite himself on the sidewalk. And one of the ones that's really cool, like this is a dead fly. These are some, this is one of Harnett's. That's one of the ones that we have that looks more like, so I have a big one. Parkmont has this large, and so it looks a lot more like that. And then this one, I have a couple of them like this it's things that he drew that were large. There are a couple of stories about him that like this, there's a story about this dollar bill. So it's in the book. There's this dollar bill, and it actually got a few copies of it here. There's so many pictures. But this dollar, that's down here. It's the picture, this one doesn't look it's not a very good copy of it. This is the original copy, and this came off the internet. So that's the original copy, and it looks very clear. But when they are made bigger, it doesn't look so clear. But so he painted it on his painting, and it looked so real that they thought he had glued it on. But they didn't believe that he would actually glue a real dollar bill on because he'd get in trouble for gluing it. So they thought he had a counterfeit machine. So they actually went to his place searching for they almost arrested him because they were like really sure that he had a counterfeit machine for this dollar bill that looked so real that it must have been counterfeit. So that's that. But having the kids pass these around so that they can kind of see, one of the ones that's really cool is this one. So this, it's not that great of a 3D, but you can see down here that this is it. So in order for it to look like this is what it looks like on the bottom. So see how the leg is like coming straight out. So it doesn't look like that. You have to be far away for it to look like that. So when you're looking from the other angle, it doesn't look like that. So it was just to show a little bit, like some of them like this is a guy, it looks like he's diving into this pool, and it's just the sidewalk. Yeah, these are all. And then I have, some of them were like really cool. Some of them are like interior that people have done inside their homes. So the wall looks like it's a cave, but it's in contrast to their furniture. And this is the side of just like some drugstore in East Palo Alto. So it just looks like there's like Egyptian ruins in there. So the kids really like this. Like this on the sidewalk, it makes the street look like it's got a waterfall coming out. Or this one, this is a really cool one here. So I have these for you to show the kids. And oh, here's like a fishing pond. And there's another like jungle. This one is just on a person's floor. They had made it look like it was like really realistic, but this person is going across the piece of wood that's like over this big chasm. Anyway, so yeah, they like this.
Talk about that, the trompe l'oeil.
So yeah, that's trompe l'oeil. So yes, that is when I talk about that. So that is the idea, is that trompe l'oeil is the French term for to trick the eye. So he was the first trompe l'oeil artist that became really famous, and he actually there's tons of his work. It did exist before he started doing it, but he made it famous. And then, of course, for the kids, for them to understand that it's like 3D, that tricking your eye and then all of this stuff, it kind of brings them home. It brings them home. So they think that is really cool.
I was just thinking more like this reminds me of like the 3D printing right now.
Yeah.
And how like that's like the new thing.
Yeah.
Like it kind of
So having the kids kind of like, the ones that are laminated, you can have them pass around, but for them to get an idea of them being able to, like it looking like you can reach in and grab it, it's pretty cool. Like if this is just the sidewalk by your house, like that's pretty cool that looks like that. So it's just the way that they've drawn it. So they can develop those skills, and a lot of these are just like sidewalk artists that are doing this, so it's really cool. So that's essentially the lesson for Harnett. And there are a lot of, there's another story. I've already given a couple of stories. Yeah.
So he was the first like 3D painter and the first like to do the trick of the eye thing?
No, trompe l'oeil is what a 3D, yeah.
Gotcha.
So he was like the one that maybe, there are 3 stories. There are 3 stories in the book. There's the one where he almost gets arrested. There's one where he paints a like hat peg it's like only a hat peg in a frame. And the museum guard, like every night, the museum guard keeps trying to hang his hat on it. Like it's just, yeah, great. Like not a good memory for him on his part. But and then another one that he drew this gold coin on the bar, and then people would always try to pull it off the bar. So he got pretty famous for his little shenanigans. I'm sure people loved that. So you can show them all those. These are even, let's see, these are more Harnett ones. So like these are ones that actually look like trompe l'oeil. Like the fact that they use this one for him is confusing to me, because he's famous for this, and this is kind of what connects with the kids. Although it is the best example of realism that we have, and most of the other stuff we have that's realistic, this is like hyper realistic almost. And so these, so then you can compare them. Oh, I had Van Gogh, and here's another, this is a Gauguin, because they asked about Gauguin. And then this is a Cubist still life, so this is Picasso, a little different take on it. And this is Braque, and this is Worcester. So these are all really realistic still life of them, and another Picasso. So there's a lot to show them, but basically his take on still life was to make it like super, super, super realistic and almost hyper realistic. So that's Harnett. And so the musician, can't believe I finished that. I feel like I've forgotten something really major.
Maybe the art project?